Hello and welcome to Two Trees Gaming. Games Workshop have just unveiled the next model for the War of the Rohirrim range for the Middle-earth strategy battle game, and it's exactly who you expect, but it's entirely unexpected. And I'm going to put on my detective hat and predict the release date of the new edition. It's an exciting time to be a fan of the Middle-earth strategy battle game, or Middle-earth in general, because the War of the Rohirrim film is just around the corner. Last week the Battle for Edoras starter set was announced. I'll link that video at the end of this one, but it includes 4 new heroes, new plastic warriors for the first time in more than a decade, and the new rulebook. But this week is Helm Hammerhand himself, although not exactly as you're expected to see him. This is Helm Hammerhand, Wraith of the Hornburg. This is not the King of Rohan at the peak of his power as he exists in the current edition, and according to the Warhammer community article, he's but a shadow of his former self, stalking snowy landscapes around the Hornburg, slaying followers of Wolf with his bare hands. This is the exact model I expected to see next, but in a completely different style. The quality of the miniature looks amazing, but my initial reaction is just shock. I just wasn't expecting this character to look like this. We've had confirmation that he's a resin miniature, so you know he's going to be full of detail and super high quality, and you can see that here. The fact he's resin suggests to me that he's a bit part character, and we may well see an alternate helm in plastic at some point too. We see him in Meduseld in the trailer, but he's not exactly ready for war. But on the front of the official visual guide and the official colouring book, we see him kitted out for war. That's the model I expect to see in plastic. I'm going to reserve judgment on Helm Hammerhand, Wraith of the Hornburg until I've seen the film. There have been so many characters that have surprised me that I now love and accept for what they are. The first ones that come to mind would be the Goblin King, the 3 Trolls, all of Thorin's company, and I'm sure fans a little longer in the tooth would probably have some characters from the original trilogy that they feel similarly about. What this character does do is get me excited for the film. I'm intrigued to see how this version of Helm plays out. I'm really looking forward to seeing him be fully fleshed out as a character. And if the character's a little jarring at first, the rules sound like they're going to be on point. But first, a quick note. If you're planning to buy the new edition of Middle-earth strategy battle game, you're going to want glorious new dice to go with it, so head over to the Baron of Dice. They've got a ton of Middle-earth adjacent dice. Use your discount code 2trees5. Support them, support us, everybody wins. Back to the video. First up on the rules, Helm Hammerhand, Wraith of the Hornburg is never considered to be unarmed, ever, which is useful because he's most definitely unarmed all the time. They've also hinted at 2 new abilities, Berserk Rage and Horn of the Hammerhand. It's anyone's guess what these special rules might do, but I'll have a go. Berserk Rage sounds like it's going to be something powerful but uncontrollable. It could be that if Hera or his sons are wounded or killed, Helm has to always charge and re-rolls his failed wounds. That would tie into the Rohan kind of vibe of the current edition with Éomer, Éowyn and Theoden interacting in a similar way. But if I was guessing, I would have it be something like he always has to charge if he's able, but when he charges he causes terror and he gains the feral charge ability like the werewolves from the new Rise of Angmar book. So essentially he's going to be knocking over models that are weaker than him, and I'm assuming he'll be the new edition's equivalent of Strength 5, so that could be quite useful and thematic. The Horn of Helm Hammerhand has already had a few variants. Arkenbrand treats it as a horn that gives +2 courage instead of +1, and the current Helm Hammerhand has him cause terror on a turn that he charges, and it counts as a war horn. I don't think it will be like either of those though, as the Warhammer community article says you'll have to wait a little longer to find out what effects the Horn of the Hammerhand has on his enemies. That to me says it might give enemies -1 courage, but I'm hoping for something a little spicier. It could be like the Horn of Gondor, or it could maybe negate fearless bonuses like what the Wildman Oathmaker would give. So if you're going to charge a charging Helm Hammerhand, you're always going to be taking a courage check. Or I'm thinking over the top anime style action here. He could spend a will point to blow it and it could knock enemies prone like Nature's Wrath. It's impossible to say exactly what we think the rules are going to do right now, but as one of the patrons in our Discord put it, I'd love to see him act as a rogue hand grenade type of model, which is to say an unreliable source of destruction, similar to Theodred, Beorn, or even Thrain the Broken, depending on how the film pans out. And last thing on the rules, I wouldn't expect him to be a mighty hero like he is in the current Legendary Legion. They refer to him in the article as a mighty hero, but that's mighty hero without the capital M and the capital H. I'm also intrigued to see what is going to be paired with. We know that army building is changing in the new edition. My opinion is that it's going to move to a Legendary Legion style list building, and there'll just be a ton of legions essentially. But if he's paired with armed Rohan warriors, surely it's like somebody just give him your sword or your axe. It's going to make him even better. It's going to feel a little jarring to have Helm with his fists in a battle line with a load of Rohan warriors. But we'll have to watch the film and see the rules to see how it all plays out. So when is this model and the new edition releasing? I can't say for sure, but I have done a bit of detective work. The visual guide and the official colouring book both drop on November 7th, so we could get a release on that day. The Two Towers strategy battle game released on the 30th of September, and the Return of the King strategy battle game released on the 31st of October for mid-December releases. Crucially, the Hobbit and Unexpected Journey strategy battle game is the only one released in tandem with a Warner Brothers film, which War of the Rohirrim is, so that's going to give the best indication of when this edition is going to drop. The film was released on the 12th of December, War of the Rohirrim is out on the 13th of December. The visual guide for The Hobbit was out on the 6th of November, the War of the Rohirrim's visual guide is out on the 7th of November. The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey strategy battle game dropped on the 1st of December, which would mean that the War of the Rohirrim strategy battle game could drop on that first weekend of December as well, which would mean, from a selfish point of view, my Throne of Schools display board will be safe, as that's the last weekend in November, and I'm desperate for the new edition to come out after that. I'm just about to start making the board. There will be a video on that, but please Games Workshop, release from the 1st of December onwards. Whenever the new edition does come out, I'm just excited for the film, and this model has got me even more excited for it. If you're enjoying the content, please do subscribe and consider joining the Patreons. We've got a Discord now that's quite active. There's dice, and soon there will be arena entries when the new edition comes out. Can't wait to get all the new content out. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.